since I've made a video, and I really apologize. I'm really going to be trying to finish them up strongly, especially since I'm in the last stretch of my pregnancy. I want to make sure that I have it for myself to remember by, and definitely, you know, share with you guys, especially once he's born. The main symptoms that I've really had the entire pregnancy: heartburn. I've had morning sickness most of the time as well. It's not all day sickness, it is true morning sickness. Once I get some food in my belly, I am fine. We have had several 3D or several ultrasounds since we last talked, and I haven't even shared any of it with you. I don't even know if I showed you guys pictures of the gender ultrasound besides the gender shot. So I'm gonna quickly show you guys one of our cute little 3D ultrasounds, just because I'm sure you guys are kind of curious what he's gonna look like. This was at 25 weeks. We actually did get another one at 27 weeks because he was being difficult and the placenta was in his face, but I couldn't find them. I think they might be in my fiance's car, but I do have them on my Facebook, on my Instagram, so I will leave my Instagram link below so you guys can follow me there. I'll probably be posting more, you know, specific updates when he, you know, is on his way there, more so than on YouTube. But yeah, this has kind of been my favorite. Let me pull it out a little bit so you don't get that glare. You can see his chunky little cheeks and his big lips. That's just kind of his profile. That one as well, you can see his little lips. And then that is his foot. His foot was huge apparently. But yeah, so we've had the 3D ultrasounds. So let's get to the serious stuff. My pregnancy went extremely smooth up until about 24 weeks, I believe it was. At 24 weeks, I started getting a lot of pressure, and I let my midwife know, and she said she wasn't concerned. She said she could, you know, send over an ultrasound at this special radiology place that, you know, specializes in ultrasound, since our ultrasound at my office doesn't do vaginal, they just do abdominal ultrasounds. So she sent me a referral to go there. They measured my cervical length. It was like 4.8. It was wonderful for, you know, 24 weeks. Usually they like it above 3. And so 4.8 was actually long, which, you know, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it being too long. So everything was good, and at that point the pressure was very slight. I just had never been pregnant before, so, you know, I don't know what's normal, what's not normal, what I should be worried about and what I shouldn't. So everything went perfect with that 24 weeks. So here I am now at 30 weeks. Actually on Thursday, I had my 30-week appointment. My midwife had pushed it up because I let her know that the pressure was a lot more painful, and like I would stand up and I'd be like, ooh, I felt like the baby was gonna like fall out. And she said she wasn't worried about it. She said I could come in Thursday and she could do an exam to make sure I'm not dilating or anything. And I was like, I think I kind of do want to do that, just because this doesn't feel normal. I've never been pregnant, but it just doesn't feel like, I just have bad feelings about this. And so she brought me on Thursday, and she's had a student for a while, and so I've just been seeing the student, and then she'll pop in the end and be like, so how are you? And the student doesn't do the exams, obviously, and so she blanked on it, and I was just kind of like, I didn't want to ask about it because my appointment was already running an hour late because they had an emergency, and so I just didn't say anything. But I was bawling when I got to my car because I was worried. My fiance called her, and she called me apologizing about forgetting, and asked if I could come back on the next morning, so Friday morning. and she would check my cervix and monitor baby a little bit. This video is getting long and I apologize. I just have so much to catch you guys up on. So I get in on Friday morning and she hooks me up to, I don't know what they call it. I don't think it's a non-stress test. I think it's just like monitoring. I don't know, but there was the one to check for contractions, one to check his heartbeat, and then I had to push the button every time he moved, and I wasn't worried about that. He moves all the time. I mean, like, he's moving right now. It's fun, like, but so I did that, and she did see one contraction in I think the 20 minutes that I was hooked up, and she's like, "Did you feel that contraction?" And I was like, "Not really." I was like, I had a little bit of tightening, but I just thought it was the baby moving. And she's like, okay. She's like, it was probably just a Braxton Hicks contraction, so nothing to worry about. She checked my cervix, and usually at this point it's high and hard. And when she checked mine, it was mid. So it wasn't low, but it wasn't high where it should be. She said she should have to reach for it and it should be difficult to find. But she said it was just kind of right there. She said it wasn't too low, it was just like mid, which usually doesn't see that till like 35-ish weeks. So that kind of concerned her. So she decided to do another cervical ultrasound on Wednesday. And so I was gonna go on Wednesday and get the cervical ultrasound done just to make sure it was still long, because I guess it can still be mid but still be long. She said his head wasn't engaged or anything, so that was good. I wasn't dilated, but it was a little soft, whereas it should be hard. My battery's getting low. But so yes. I'm out of breath. So that was about 9 a.m., 9:30. I was there from 9 to 10 just like monitoring and her checking me. She said obviously if you start getting contractions, and she explained to me what contractions felt like. She said you'll get, you know, like tightening up here, and then, you know, like could be mild period cramping down here, could be back pain. You might feel a little nauseous during, but that's like beginning contraction. So if you start getting that, call me or go straight to the emergency, the labor and delivery, just to get monitored there and to be safe. And I was like, okay, you know, I wasn't worried about it. You know, I hadn't had any contractions. I barely had Braxton Hicks, or maybe I have been having Braxton Hicks and I haven't felt them. So I went to work, and at work I kind of felt really off, but I just figured it was because I was kind of worried about the whole cervix thing. Had to wait till Wednesday to kind of get more info, but I mean, I was really fine. And then right after work, I got off at 8. I went to Target and was walking around Target. First I went to, sorry about my birds, they're crazy because of the fence people. So first I went to Carter's and got a couple newborn outfits because I was like, oh, my cervix is lowering. He's probably going to be early, and we're expecting this 10-pound baby, but if he's early, he'll probably need newborn clothes. So I was like, I'm going to get some newborn clothes. They're having a good sale. So got a couple newborn outfits. Went to Target to get some stuff for my friend's baby shower, which was during the weekend. And so I get into Target and I'm walking around Target and I start feeling really sick. Like, I felt like I was gonna throw up, but I wasn't gonna throw up. And I was like, this is really weird. And I was having period cramping, and like my stomach was feeling really weird. I was having this really heavy pressure like in my stomach, not in my vagina. So it was different than it was before. And I wasn't really worried because it was constant. It wasn't like, you know, contractions. I think they'll like come and then go and then come and then go. It was just constant. And so I like was at the point where I would kind of have to stop because they'd get really bad, and then I had to stop and like kind of breathe through it. it would mild down a little bit but still be there. And so I just kept walking around Target, and I got to the point where I was just like my head was like spinning. I felt dizzy, so I just started walking back to the car. I was by myself. So I get back to the car and I call my fiance, and he's like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need to be seen?" And I was like, I don't really know. Like, I think I'm fine. It's probably nothing. You know, once I sat down, it went away. And so I get home, and he pulled up at the same time because he was grabbing us dinner. And so as soon as I stood up out of the car, I started having another. Like, they started up again. And I was like, well, it's probably just a Braxton Hicks since I stood up, you know, like, activity. And he's like, okay. He's like, are you counting to see how many you have? And I'm like, I can't tell. It's like constant. And he's like, okay. So I go inside and I do the dishes, and I kind of sit down in the chair, and I start getting period cramping on and off. And I thought it was him moving, but it was my stomach tightening up, like when I was getting contraction. And so I went into labor and delivery. I didn't even call my midwife first. At this point, it was 11 p.m. And so I didn't even call her first. I just went right in because I knew I'd have to leave a message. Either her or the OB would call me back. And then I didn't know, like, if this was serious or if I was going to get there and be nothing. Even when I got there, I told the nurse that I was like, you're going to hook me up and nothing's going to be wrong. But I just want to get checked. And she's like, not a problem, that's fine. They hook me up, and right away there's a contraction. And she's like, did you feel that? And I was like, yeah, my stomach tightened, but I didn't think it, like, maybe it was just a Braxton Hicks contraction. And she's like, oh, it could be. I'm just gonna leave you here for about 20 minutes. They checked my urine, and sure enough, I was having them about 5 minutes apart. Some I would feel and some I wouldn't. Some were worse than others. And so they gave me a shot to slow them down. I was still having them 10 minutes apart at that point, but they were a lot smaller contractions. They gave me the shot. They sent me home on modified bed rest for the weekend. My midwife called me on Saturday asking how I was feeling, and I told her that I was still having them probably like 2 times an hour. And so she sent me over a prescription to hopefully minimize them, or, you know, get them to go away completely. And it's pretty, for the most part, worked. I have to take it every 6 hours, like around the clock, like at nighttime and everything. And so far it's been working pretty well. I still am getting painful ones every now and then. I don't really pay attention to the non-painful ones because I can't really feel them. When I was at the hospital, they did do a swab and checked me again. I was the same as I was at my appointment earlier that day, so that's good. I wasn't dilating. They did a swab for preterm labor, and that's what I'm waiting for my midwife to call me about. She said it can take 24 hours. And it's been, you know, since Friday, and it's Monday, so it's been more than 24 hours. So I'm hoping that since she hasn't called me yet, it's negative, and so she's just not in a hurry to call me. But she said she'd call me either way. So yeah, that's kind of my crazy preterm labor scare. But the test will basically tell me if I'm gonna have him within 2 weeks. So if it's positive, then that's kind of scary, and if it's negative, then it's a pretty good chance he'll stay in for at least 2 more weeks. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my belly on the side, front, and other side. And I do have some stretch marks. This is where my belly button was pierced. I'll keep you guys updated, and thank you for watching.